and at least some of these. They have a lot of, I'll tell you what, theirs is different in that they had hearts that they cut out, and the hearts represented what they love about Bueller Mennonite Church, this person. And the light bulbs are their new ideas for you. So listen closely.
We made Gatlin. The reason why we named her Gatlin is because everybody in our group, everybody's first initial we could make into a word. And we did Georgia, Anna, Drew, Izzy, Layton, and Maria. Those were the people in our group. So
talk about your ideas.
okay.
Each one out, just say which one of them.
Okay. Kids preach one Sunday. We bring pets. Play games. Playgroundy. Cookies every Sunday. Every church, us kids, sing. A pool, a game room, and my mom preaches. We love noodle soup supper, sitting in church with family, friends, jam, and then jam represents Jesus and me. Looking up Bible verses, Wednesday night meal, juniors, seniors, climbing the tree, and then we have another jam.
Yeah, they really like jam.
Wait. Can I?
Yep, it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
And so Drew insisted on a bunny. Do you want to talk it? Anna's going to do it? Yay. Okay.
Our ideas are, our bunny's name is Seymour. Drew came up with the name. And our ideas are Sunday school pet. And
I
kids.
thought it was going to be a church pet, not a Sunday school pet. Okay.
Our other idea is kids sitting in the balcony for church.
They talked about
Who's there to supervise?
another idea is what?
Kids activities during church. We love Pastor Wilmer's suspenders. We also love cookie social and finding Bible verses.
I'm not sure how this will work the best. If you just want to have someone hold your flip chart while one person introduces, that might be best. And then after you're done, just put it on the wall, and I'll arrange them after as well. So shall we just go in order here, or does someone really want to go first? Yeah, there we go. We'll try to do this in just a few minutes because there's a lot of you.
Okay, first of all, following the kids is a pretty tough act. Okay, I think I can remember most of it. This is Bueller Mennonite Church. It's kind of two different individuals. he's a farmer wearing overalls and cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, but he's also, you know, a little more professional. He's certainly a sports fan, but he dresses, you know, business casual. But the two sides are real comfortable with each other. There isn't any problem there. So we got the kind of professional side, and then we've got our farmer. Yeah, and on his shoulder is the dove, because we are definitely a peace church. So that's a strong part of it. His arms are busy, his arms are strong. On one side we have helping others. This guy really, when he sees a need, outside the church, anywhere, when he sees a need, he truly tries to fill that need. On the other side, so many, he's employed, I think this is right, he's probably employed in some kind of public service. Teachers, nurses, fire. Yeah, he's employed in, yeah, public service. That's what he does. Yeah, he's a pretty good guy overall. He's in a fence. He's in a fence, and you'll notice one eye is closed. What he sees the world, he wants everybody to come to Bueller Mennonite Church, but really he doesn't. No, not everybody. He sees the world out there, yeah, but well, no. He really doesn't want everybody to come to Bueller Mennonite Church. And that's part of why one eye is closed. That's part of the fence. And why the fence is there. If you want to come meet this guy, if you want to come meet Bueller Mennonite Church, there's an obstacle. You got to come over.
No gate.
There's no gate. We didn't put a gate in that fence. There's an obstacle to becoming Bueller Mennonite Church. Yeah, you can climb over the obstacle. Okay, so one of the questions was, what advice would you give the church? Yeah, what advice would I give this person? And really, for God's sake, open the other. Don't keep that eye closed. We got to open it. And at the minimum, the bare minimum, put a gate in your fence. He needs someday, I hope, well, maybe someday, this guy will take down the fence. But in the meantime, he's at least got to put a gate in there. What do you think that is? That's it. Thank you.
Just hand it to another table. We have to. We'll go next. Do it that table going.
Okay, hold it up.
You can just put it on the wall.
Well, while they're messing around, they voted and said I was to be in charge. I didn't know I was drawing, but this is my drawing. And it took us a little while to name the person, but we came up with Faith. And this was decided that we put this on there to comfort the disturbed, to disturb the comfortable. Something to think about. And our fears, it's talked about that we're fearful that our high tech might help people stay home. With that, it's on TV and stuff since we were shut down. And I know some people aren't coming because of the germs out there and COVID and stuff. But we're hoping that the high tech won't make people too comfortable and not come. We want more fears. Some people won't want that person-to-person contact anymore. We also have fears of forgiveness. Who will take over the future activities? One was like the noodle soup and those kind of activities. I'll come back to that. Hope is growth, attendance, fellowship, having our doors always open, getting rid of that fence, and love. Love can be love one another, love those that don't love us. We have that. One thing that we love is our missions. And then children, I kind of ran out of room for children, but that's what these are supposed to be. And then this is our missions, like the mission of noodle soup. Our person is transgender. We couldn't decide. So we just did a very comfortable person. The person has faith, very welcoming, has faith and reads the Bible. We do have scars as a church. We've healed from those. We've also learned things from those things in our church that have happened. The reason that we named our person Faith, we decided was, we spelled out the word faith, and F stands for faith, A is activities, I is individuals, T is for trust, and H is for honesty. Is there anything else I forgot? Oh, well done. Okay. So that's ours. Who do I give this to?
This is a person named Layton, and yeah, cause she signed it, and so we started with drawing like our body and all that stuff, and then we went to like the shoes and the feet, and we drew a foot because we wanted to show that you can come to church as you are, and that God will love you as the way you are. And we drew a boot because of this like work and service. When we were drawing our pants, we wanted to kind of draw like jeans, and we drew some patches to show like the hard, like we're hardworking and stuff. When we drew like our like whole like shirt and stuff, we wanted to like why like that? Oh yes, man and woman. And then when we drew our arms, we wanted to show that we were like strong in tradition and strong in our service during tough times. And we drew like since like we do the noodle soup supper, we drew this guy holding a chicken's neck. And this is like the pot that like we cook the chicken.
Up here we have the general brain trust of everybody, and as you see we have an old door and we have a new door. Both of them are open. The new door is slightly more closed. And so we're trying to open the new door a little to new ideas. The old door is wide open, but that's also the new door's fault as well. So the new door has to present ideas and do things and be active, and so that includes this technology that we have here too, is that if we want to use technology and utilize that stuff, we have to be open to it, but we also have to be proactive in getting it to go forward. So a lot of the new that we're asking for, the new also has to be proactive in making it happen.
For our other arm, we put the community and we put an open hand. So like we are welcoming like people to come and helping, like this little, sign saying like we're welcoming people. And yeah, we tried to show like BMC because like that's who we are. And yeah.
Well, these are tough acts to follow. You guys are all good and good thoughts. We drew Faithful. That's his name. Faithful wears very casual clothes. He dresses very casual. He is a shepherd in our church. He does a lot of work. Activities he likes is music, MDS, helping others, the soup supper, mission festival, stuff like that. He energizes by faith and prayer. And his hopes, we will get more youth in our church, and we need to use our youth in our church. We need to start using them, and I think our preacher does very well with that, using the youth in our church, make them feel very important. He has this looks like undershorts, but this is a belt because he is a worker of the church. And he does a lot of work for anybody. Anybody needs help, somebody's out there helping them. So he is a worker, and he always has a lunch bucket he carries along. Nobody has to feed him. He takes care of himself. As far as the person, what you asked the last questions, he's a warm personality, and he has patience. Advice you would give to the church as a person: don't forget your past. Work with other kids, adults, so they'll all come back. Anything else? Ours is very simple, but this is not a cigar, it's a pencil. Made that clear.
Go against that. Go against that wall.
Eat your glasses.
Okay, you're going to hear a lot of consistent themes from what we've already heard, which I think speaks to our church. This is neutral gender Chris. Chris can be a male or a female because those are, no matter the task, we see our men and our women step up every time to do the service work, to help one another, to help our community. It's also a nod to our heritage. It could be Christover for the German-Russian heritage. Chris is dressed in a comfortable fashion, which is what our church. We don't have to get dressed up in order to come into our church. Jeans represent that comfortability. It also represents working clothes. We've got a booth down here, nod to our ag base and our ag community here. But we've got an office shoe here. So like Steve said, we've got people who sometimes they're the same person. They have that white collar job in town, and then they farm and have cattle and whatnot all the other time. Wearing a sweatshirt, so comfortability in work. Got a cell phone, a nod toward our youth. As a church, we are about 60 years of age across the board, but we don't want to forget our youth. They are important to us. It also represents technology and our massive growth in technology over the past few years. And a nod to the future, that's what we've got to continue to work on. Empty nest. Sitting at our table, we have at least 2 empty nesters. We don't want our church to become an empty nest where our youth leave and maybe don't come back. We need to constantly encourage that next generation in their involvement and in their sense of community here. Over here, it's kind of light, but that's Swebok, in an extended hand. That's a nod to our traditions, but it can also represent exclusivity. If you don't know what that is, not so sure you belong here maybe. We have, as I found, we have a cross, of course, representing our faith in Christ and our belief in the Father, and a heartbeat, strong heartbeat for that. Foundation in the Word. But we have scars. And at our table, a couple of the scars that we talked about was the merge that Hebron did with our church and what a painful process that was for them. And we also talked about, more recently, Pastor Bob's retirement after almost 30 years and what a change that was for our church and that year of transition afterward. But it's a healing wound. It's not a lasting something that we dwell on. What draws us to this person is the strong foundation in the Word, the very nature of our church. But advice that we would give Chris is maybe is really dig in, really address some of the issues that maybe we aren't what we think we are. We think we're welcoming, and we think that we bring people to us. But as we've already heard, maybe we're not as strong in that as we think we are, and that's what we want to become more of.
We are higher than David's. Still higher. All right, so we have, we named our person Familia as our church's one big family. And kind of starting with the head here, we have glasses and like hearing aids as our church is more of an older community. Not saying it's a bad thing, but just kind of how we are. And then we have a beard to kind of represent, like we had the beard contest last year, and we have lots of them in our church. And when we were deciding about the body, we decided to go with a circle to represent kind of like, not like really like a rectangle being on two separate sides, and we're all just like one big group, and it's easier to fellowship as like we're in a circle instead of being on two different sides arguing. And we have a heart, we're very caring, and for the legs, we have jeans on one side and shorts, as like we're like more casual now than what we used to be, you know, with the dress up, and then like loafers in the bottom, because some people do. And on the outside here, we have some cookies and then a pie, as we like to eat, having potlucks and other things. And some of the words to describe us, we have sharing. We're very concerned on the local level about things that are going around in our communities. Loving. And then up here, you might notice it's in yellow, welcoming. And I underline that as like something like we need to strive to continue to work on, as being welcoming to new people and making sure they feel welcome. Supportive of all the things that go on in our church. We're very generous monetarily, giving when like money needs to be given. And we also have a bunch of music notes here, as we have lots of musical talent in our church. And let's see, we have a toolbox down here, as we like to help when like things need to be built, or when work needs to get done. And our arms are open, as we're like very like welcoming and such. And for our fears, fearing not bringing enough / like new or youthful people into the church, as I mean, we are an older community, and just striving to grow the church for the next generation. I think that's about it.
Guess we gotta go this way for the camera. We got some good-looking people in our church. We came up with the name of Frankie, which means we could go either male or female. We are very much accepting. That's represented on the right there. We have a big footprint. We have church people from Bueller, Inman, Heston, Hutch, Haven, Burton, McPherson. So if you draw a circle, that's a pretty big footprint. As you see, you got a mask hanging off of that ear. And there's a couple of tears that come out of that guy's eye. You know, that's been a one of the scars, I guess you could say. And also we wrote down Merger, the Hebron Church, it's already been mentioned. Also the Burton Church, so that too goes along with the accepting of others. On the left you see a Bible. We have a good Wednesday night program. We do Bible study. We're one of the few churches that still has a choir. So you see a few musical notes there. We have a good Sunday school program, and so all of that, I think, helps in growing the church. Down there in the corner, some of our fears are growth and youth and keeping a pastor. We've got a good pastor. We would like to, sure in the world, figure out how we can keep him. Maybe not as long as Pastor Bob, but at least half of that. And so, you know, those are some of the realities. On the right side, we got a basket there that's filled up with potluck, outreach, soup suppers. We got the praise team. We got prison visits. We got the NAMI Association in our midst, in our hearts. We got the Omega House down the street, MDS, salt, etc. shop. All that kind of stuff is is a little bit of who we are. And we are dressed pretty casually here, and that's okay. I wasn't used to that when I first came here, but I'm getting used to it. Is that about it, group?
What's up in the upper right-hand corner? Oh, that's the accepting, you already did that.
Yeah. So, he's not as good looking as the rest of yours, but that's okay.
All right, this is our church person, and his name is John. He represents the traditional Mennonite farmer background that our church is pretty much based on. But he is distracted. He is undecided and confused. His children are escaping out of the wagon, and that's a big concern to him, and running away from the church. But he, in his other hand, has packed a suitcase and has some indecisive factors in his mind. He loves being able to watch the church on TV Sunday morning, and during times when he can't make it to church. Say he was in the emergency room on Christmas Eve, he was able to tune in and watch the candlelight service and have a connection with the rest of the church. But he can also stay home on Sunday morning and make breakfast and sit on the couch and watch church. And that's kind of, and lose the personal contact he gets when he comes to church in person, which is up there in the upper right-hand corner. He also enjoys doing the noodle soup supper and food, fellowship, and outreach down there in the corner. And he loves our strong musical program. He loves to come to church and sing. He's also got his cell phone there on his hip. He's always connected. Not always good, but like I said, he's got times when he can connect to church when he couldn't before.
Or use that as an excuse not to go.
Yes. So, John is conflicted.
To Waldo, and Waldo's a stick figure, and he doesn't care that Waldo's a stick figure because he fits in. It's all good. Waldo the church is, the way we looked up the name for Waldo is, where is Waldo? So where is our church, and how do people see our church? How do they find our church? Do we go out and reach out enough to let people know where we are? I'll start with the fears, and then we'll move up from that because that's the negative piece. But some of our fears are people taking over, like it's been mentioned, and when you ask people to do things, they say, I can't do that, I don't have time, I'm not qualified. And the truth is, everybody's qualified to do something. And our fear is an empty church. With technology and the things that have gone on, we've seen less people coming into the building. It's great that we can reach out to other people in other ways, but you don't get that connection and you kind of lose that. People coming back and joining our church. It doesn't matter what you wear to church. You can dress casually. We still have people that come in their suit jackets and dresses, or formally, or you can dress casually. The things that we think that Waldo, the church, does very well is service work with MCC sale, outreach meals, the noodle soup supper, service work, and then our youth getting involved in service work, and Sonia's done a great job at keeping them involved in doing service work. The things that we relate or we see in our church are we like FOSTA. We like food.
Potluck, FOSFA, we have a great Bible study, has been mentioned. The Sunday school classes, and then our participation in the partners, pastors and partnership, so that we do reach out to our community that way. Some of our things we would like to do is to reach out to our community with open arms and then embrace them. We have a lot of people in the community that are unchurched, and so that's kind of a hope for our future. Other things are getting families in, younger families, because some of us are getting older. We would love to see a full church with all the pews full instead of all of them empty down below. And keeping the hymns in the church, while other songs are nice, hearing the old hymns are awesome, even to my old self, but anyway. And then using our gifts to help others in the community and reaching out. So Waldo would tell us to be visible and stay open to the community and to stick to the word. The hammer represents MDS work, I guess, or something.
You can sit.
Well, this is Eli Elizabeth, and that denotes a person who is both a male and female. The boxes are our gifts, service, community, faith, outreach, and most of all, we are Christ-centered. And the music notes, of course, denote that we are a musical church, and music is part of our edification as well as our ministry. The dress is, conservative, modest, and we had to have cowboy boots because there's many of those in our church, and that's how we're comfortable. We're farmers, and even when we go to events, we wear cowboy boots, don't we? Our habits, we're intentional, we support each other, and our activities, tradition, soup supper, standing to sing. A Christmas Eve order of service, Dave said, I don't even need a bulletin, I know what's going to happen next.
Not in a negative way.
Not in a negative way. Outreach meals, MDS, MCC, our favorite activities are eating together, that's one of our most favorite ones, cookie social and meals. And what energizes us is being together, our music and good sermons and just being in the Word. What adjectives describe our personality? Genuine, as well as humor can be put in there too. Best qualities, generosity. When someone is hurting, and I can attest to that, just recently I've been down a little bit and people brought stuff over. There is a lot of love and generosity in this group. Negative traits, maybe we might be a little closed, like they said one of the groups said we want people to come, but not just everybody, and we need to work on that and be more welcoming in our community. The COVID controversy has been a wound or a scar, and changing of pastors, and that's been mentioned before. Hoping for the future, a strong congregation. We would like to see a new building where the Mendenhall House is, and something that would foster activities and have a nice kitchen and be a space where we can do things. Fear is loss of young people. We need strong programs for our youth and for our children. We want the kids want there to be more of them here. And questions are uncertain future. None of us knows what's in our future. What draws us to this person? Genuine friendship. And what advice? We talked about what would Jesus do? How would Jesus handle all of these controversies that we're faced with? And that needs to be foremost in our decision making. Anything else?
Thank you. Our person is named Jordan. Let me stand back so you guys can see too. Our person is named Jordan because the name Jordan is both given to males and females. So we have a little bit of each on this person, kind of a mix and match of identities to make up one actual person. I wanted to make just like an entire group of people and then point to that and say that's our person, but that's not the assignment. The assignment is to make one person. So this is our one person. It's a combination of things. So there is a little cowboyish stuff going on over here with the male side of the top part, and then there's a red hat lady, like back when Adrian's had their doors open, kind of a boutique Patty Gould type feel. I can say that. Somehow there's a Viking for some reason, Minnesota Viking, and a Chiefs thing because of sports influence and how big a part of that is for everybody's life in the church, depending on what your situation is. And that doesn't just represent sports, that represents all kinds of outside activities that we celebrate through the church as well. It's kind of John Brown with the Bible and the gun field, but instead it's soup and a Bible / hymnal. And but I did make it a Bible intentionally with some highlighted stuff and a bookmark and a sticky note, and so it looks like it's being actually used a lot. We got a blouse, attempted a blouse here with some jewelry on we put the woman's side on here, and then the dress part over here with some bright flowery stuff. So this is kind of an older lady, older guy kind of a feel, but then the cowboy boot and the heel on this side, and so there's some work, and there's some dress up and do fancy things, all kind of tied in there. I put a planet Earth over here with the halo over it to talk about our global services and outreach. A cross over top of that. Some musical notes over here for the music influence. We got a tractor or combine or something over a field for our farming influence. A cow. And instead of visible scars, or what was the verbiage they use here? Instead of scars that have healed or wounds, we have a whole suitcase full of baggage that is not necessarily open for everybody to see, or any open scars. They put themselves together pretty well, but they aren't shy about the fact that they have some stuff going on here in this suitcase full of baggage, but have their arms open as a representation of being willing to help other people based on what baggage they might think that they have, knowing, hey, I'm imperfect too, how can I help you, kind of a thing. And there's a little kid here, and it says youth on the shirt, and what is this? That youth thing? And then it says teach them well and let them lead the way. And then underneath it too, I added some graves here with crosses on that says honor your ancestors and foundation. And then Jordan is all written out. Jordan, the reason we did Jordan also is because of the biblical references to the name and the river and everything like that. So we kind of went over habits, style, activities, all kind of. We got the bowl of soup is obviously for the noodle soup, and what the whole noodle soup supper represents, or it could be gumbo or green pork chili, and then that of course represents all kinds of good bringing people together. obviously big on how food brings fellowship. So that's a representation in there as well. And then and like I said, the arms open would be a quality. Oh, at the top it says, "Come as you are." So I've always been, I'm 35, but I feel like I've always been impressed and attracted to the qualities of this church about being so welcoming and saying that instead of, and other people have different stories too, I'm sure, but for me it's always felt like, come as you are and learn with us and share your ideas and we can learn together, instead of this is what we believe and don't bring your stuff here and try to teach us. It's let's all learn together, which has always felt very good for me. So we put that up there in the corner, and then for the future, obviously encouraging and teaching the youth and help them grow through us and through Christ. And fears and questions. What do we want to say on that? Fear that this isn't going to build as big as we. Oh, I forgot the big thing right in the middle. We got a big old BMC belt buckle. It's got a little dove with a church little front steeple here, and then it says BMC, and the cross is 100 years as a commemorative belt buckle. I'm sure we're on that. Somebody's on that. Luann or somebody's going to be making a bunch of belt buckles for the commemorative. Oh, and we have Luann's pearl snaps right here too, as well, on there. I think that can be about good, unless anybody else has anything that I forgot on this.
I didn't think Dave was serious when he said this would last till noon. So, I don't know that we have much new to add, but a couple of things I would mention. Our person's name is Danny, and it can be either Danielle or Daniel. And Daniel in the lion's den, and trusting that God will always be there regardless of the circumstances. Things that have been mentioned, the MCC sales, soup, supper, outreach, are things that our congregation does as a whole. We do that together. And then some of the other outreaches, I mean, we've got about 15 different things, and there's probably about 25 or 30 of things that we go out and do. And part of that is from our inspiration from Sunday mornings attending church. We're have a helping hand. Anyone that needs a helping hand, we try and help if we can. We embrace our own. We help our own as well as helping those out in the community, out in the world. Some of the other activities that we support and are Pleasant View Homes, Sunshine Meadows, the midweek meals, the midweek activities, but it takes all kinds of people to help put this all together. Now, the Bible, that's very important with the Mennonite Dove. One of our concerns is music. We love to sing. We have a great music program. What's going to happen with our music program in the coming years? That's a concern. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, our dress has been mentioned. And we dress from shorts and t-shirts to tie and suits. And we don't judge anybody on how they're dressed. Now, if somebody's traditionally been wearing a suit and all of a sudden they come in short and t-shirt, we might say something. Another thing we mentioned is don't forget the past. We need to, we've been through that, we've looked at our past, and it's been very gratifying, but don't forget our past, and remember to build on that. And probably not necessarily concerned, but what are we hoping for in the future? And one of the things we do well is we disagree, but we are respectful of each other. Other thing is continuation of the Sunday school programs, and another thing is, what do we do with our property? It's been mentioned, we purchased the property next door. How do we proceed with that? What all do we do with that property? So, and I think that's all I have.
Is that everybody? Okay. I don't need to talk very long, but I just want to thank you for doing this worshipful work. The hope is for a freshness of the spirit, as you are talking about these things together. And I just encourage you to continue conversations. There probably will be some way to watch the video recording, and for those that aren't here, can watch that as well. And Dave, is it okay to mention the 23rd? Or?
Yes.
So I am coming back for one more time with you, and some of these things that you have talked about today and mentioned can be used in a World Cafe conversation around tables on Wednesday the 23rd in the evening, and you'll hear more about that. So it's just another way to kind of cross-pollinate, talk with different people, and build on ideas with some of the things that have been brought up here, and those questions will be brought to you on the 23rd. Thank you very much for letting me be here with you. I've really enjoyed being with you.
I want to thank you for putting up with it. I'm not real smart and not an expert on any of this, but it seems like just about every table mentions food. So we'll get this over so we can go get to our food. We've been sitting for a long time. Let's all stand up. We have a song to finish, and then we'll end with prayer and dismiss. Thank you for this time that we spent together. We thank you for the minds, the thoughts, the drawings, all of this that's come, the creativity, and we just ask that you would help us now digest this and find a way to learn from that. Be with this family of people as we disperse, guide and direct us in our day and in our week, and bless our times together. Amen. Amen.